The revelation about life from chopping wood. Xiefeng. September 3, 2024. While chopping wood, I observed an interesting phenomenon. Some logs split in half with just one strong, well-aimed strike. However, there are some logs, about 60 centimeters long and 20 to 30 centimeters in diameter, that no matter how much force or precision is applied, cannot be split with a single strike. Even after multiple attempts, they remain unbroken. To split these special logs, I had to insert an axe into the initial crack and then hammer the back of the axe. As the crack widened, I would insert another axe into the new opening and continue hammering until, after dozens of attempts, the log finally split in half. When comparing the split surfaces of normal logs and these special logs, normal logs have flat, even surfaces, while special logs have twisted, spiral surfaces. Why is this? Although I haven't conducted a detailed study, I speculate that these special logs experienced some kind of twisting pressure during their growth. To survive and grow, they didn't grow straight but in a spiral manner. Over time, the grain of these trees became twisted rather than straight. Normally grown logs have straight grain, while abnormally grown logs have twisted grain. Logs with straight grain are easy to split, while those with twisted grain are much harder to split. The grain represents the nature of the tree. Trees can have straight or twisted natures. Straight grain trees are not only good materials for making furniture and building houses, but they are also easy to split for firewood. Twisted grain trees, however, are not suitable for furniture or construction, are difficult to process, and are hard to split for firewood. This gives us an insight: if something grows and develops in an environment without suffering or prolonged pressure, it easily becomes useful, and its nature remains pure, simple, and gentle. Conversely, if something endures more suffering and hardship during its growth, its nature becomes twisted. It is not easy to become useful, but its character becomes very resilient and strong. Further insight is that if a person has a gentle nature and easily gets along with others, their family environment is likely harmonious, with parents who rarely argue or use threats and violence. They receive more praise than criticism in school and experience smooth sailing at work. Conversely, if a person grows up in a disharmonious family, with parents often belittling each other, and experiences frequent criticism and suppression at school and work, their nature becomes twisted. They develop strong resilience, and external forces find it hard to break them. They also find it difficult to accept others' advice and persuasion. Another insight from this is that on our life journey, when we encounter people with resilient and strong natures who are difficult to persuade, we should be more understanding and forgiving. We should show more sympathy and compassion because they have already endured much suffering. However, remember that their nature is already formed, so do not argue with them. Any dispute will not only be ineffective but will also strain the relationship, which is detrimental to both parties. Specially natured things are special materials needed in unique situations, so they have their distinctive value and purpose. Similarly, special people have their unique value and use. Therefore, whether normal or abnormal, all are creations of nature and treasures in the greatest Creator's embrace. 1-6. The revelation from the mudslide stopping for him for 16 seconds. Xiefeng. July 5, 2024. When the Israelites crossed the Red Sea, the sea stopped flowing to give them a path. Jesus fed 5,000 people with 5 loaves and 2 fish, and Christ turned water into wine. These stories from the Bible often seem like myths or science fiction. However, a real-life phenomenon, the mudslide stopped for him for 16 seconds, happened in our time. I saw the video, "The mudslide stopped for him for 16 seconds, on the internet. I believe it's real, although I don't know the time and place it occurred. From the video, you can see it was in a village, likely after heavy rain caused a mudslide. The mudslide flowed down a village path, then suddenly stopped moving, waiting there motionless. At the forefront of the mudslide was a white van in extreme danger. Seeing the mudslide stop, the van quickly drove away. Once the van was out of danger, the mudslide roared down with a force like an avalanche. A mudslide stopping for 16 seconds and then resuming its powerful flow defies common sense and rationality. We wouldn't expect a river to stop flowing temporarily to ensure someone's safety and then continue once they're safe. Rationalists would never acknowledge this because it defies common sense and logical thinking. I recommend that readers search online and watch the mudslide stopped for him for 16 seconds video. In Chanyuan, we have a value that nothing is impossible, there are only things we can't imagine or comprehend. If a mudslide can temporarily stop to ensure someone's safety, what can't happen? The insight we gain from the mudslide stopping is as follows. Do good deeds, regardless of what the future holds. God bless those kind-hearted. A kind person may be bullied by others, but not by heaven. An evil person may be feared by others, but not by heaven. A true gentleman does not seek blessings, yet heaven guides him. A cunning person tries to avoid disaster, yet heaven takes his soul. Reflecting on the car accident that happened to me, it changed the course of my life completely. When I got out of the car and looked at the scene, the first thought that came to my mind was, God saved me. Since then, I stopped considering myself and dedicated myself wholeheartedly to the theory of Lifechanyuan and the construction of the second home. I knew that I died in that car accident, and what remained of me belonged to God. Thus, my life's motto is, entrust my life to the greatest Creator and let the Tao manage my life. I have only one task, to walk the way of the greatest Creator. What is destined to come will inevitably come, trying to avoid it is futile. What is destined to leave will inevitably leave, trying to hold on is futile. Selflessness, unselfishness, non-attachment, taking things as they are, associating with others by following natural come-and-go relations, acting in accordance with one's intrinsic nature, and taking advantage of opportunities as they arise, this is the best way to live. It is also the essential way to the heavenly kingdom that the greatest Creator can bless us to go.